skin. Let's all come together.
Folks, come on in to the chat. This is Jeff Ross. This is a special live stereo edition of my podcast, Thick Skin with Jeff Ross. We're talking about veterans affairs, and we're also going to talk about the elections and where we're at, because my man in D.C., Steve Ross, the founder of the Artists and Athletes Alliance, is on the chat with me right now. He's a good pal of mine. We have been all over the planet together. My first time in Iraq, I was with this guy. He was the advance man who organized my entire trip to entertain the troops, and it changed my life. So I am in debt to him forever for getting my passport and license in a place where I was allowed to be approved by the Department of Defense. And I love this guy, and he knows everything about what's going on. Not everything, but he has incredible insight to what's happening in the political world, especially down in D.C. What part of Washington do you live in?
Hey, Jeff, I live up in Northwest D.C. by the National Cathedral.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Are some neighborhoods like more political than others? Like, do all the political people live in one neighborhood up there? Or what goes on in D.C.?
Now, the politicians live in a variety of places. Some live on Capitol Hill. Some live up in Northwest. Some people, this is obviously their second home. So some live in just congressmen or reps live in smaller condos and have big houses back home. But you'll always say with 535 congressmen and senators, you always see somebody walking around the Safeway or the CVS drugstore.
What's like in Hollywood, if you see a celebrity, you get a picture, you get an autograph. What do you do in DC? Like if you see a senator or a congressman walking by, what's the etiquette?
Well, I guess it depends on who the senator or congressman are. If it's a high profile person who you like, you might snap a selfie. Dr. Fauci lives not too far from me, and I saw him crossing the street. He goes to this restaurant to get takeout all the time, and it's his neighborhood here. So just if you're into that stuff and you see him, bars are giving drinks.
Really, Fauci picks up his own takeout
all the time. Yeah.
Does he have security?
You know what? I just saw him by himself. So this was a couple months ago, but all the bars are serving Fauci pouchies where you can get booze in it looks like a IV drip bag, and it's just called the Fauci pouch.
How's the weather in Washington D.C. right now?
It was raining today, but overall there's some crazy. It's been 70s all week. It's the middle of November. It could be 30s and snow, but it's 70s, so it's no complaints here.
Now I know your organization, which I'm a part of, the Artists and Athletes Alliance, is bipartisan. Do you think Republicans and Democrats will ever start talking to each other again, or is this it? Are we at a civil war?
I think they'll talk to each other again. There's just political implications on everything. For example, the Senate now there's two races in Georgia that they're going to do a runoff in early January. It's two. So, part of the reason people are thinking that all this crush of cheating allegations and votes that shouldn't count are to energize the basin of Georgia, where both of these races will take place. Because ultimately, when you look at the numbers, Joe Biden's going to win he's up over 3% now, millions of votes, probably over 5 million votes more than Trump. And
wow.
So it's and with all the allegations of one cheating allegation or two, it's not going to be enough, in my opinion, to overthrow 5 million votes. So ultimately, I think the president.
I don't think that's the goal. It's not.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you think the president will concede or just disappear?
Well, I don't know, concede, but I just think the Republicans are also, the control of the United States Senate is up in these two races in Georgia. If the Democrats win both, they will have a small, but they will be in charge with Vice President-elect Harris. So everything is political implications now based on, what's next, what's coming up next election cycle. So that's what's going on. But I think ultimately people will come together and, try to get something done for the country, hopefully.
I really hope so. I mean, Joe Biden, that's his claim to fame, right? Is negotiating with the other side.
Absolutely. And McConnell, if he stays majority leader, if the Republicans maintain their number, he's worked with Biden before. And, I just think that you work with who you got. And the way to get stuff done with this administration, I've worked with all of them, is that they don't want to tilt the power guy. They don't want to get him mad. So they just go along with it. But I think ultimately when Republicans and Democrats will come together, and I think it's actually helpful to Biden to have Senator McConnell, the Republican, as the Senate majority leader, because this will alleviate some pressure and stress from the real progressive movement with the AOCs who are going to want him to, gut everything. I think it'll help Biden maintain more of a middle ground by having McConnell as the Senate majority leader.
Well, interesting. And do you think that this PAC, the super PAC that Trump is starting, do you think that's going to give him leverage down the road? Of course. He can throw his money at, he can primary people who don't sign up with him. He can throw money at the opponents of other Republicans just to stay influential.
Well, I think he's going to be influential either way because he has 65 million followers on social or on Twitter.
Right.
So he controls the narrative. He's the one who could send out
Still not as many as Obama. Still not as many as Obama.
Or Kim Kardashian. So.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Here's my theory. Tell me what you think, Steve. If you're just tuning in, this is Thick Skin with Jeff Ross. My guest is Steve Ross, the founder of the Artists and Athletes Alliance in Washington, D.C. They bring people together from the arts, from sports. They bring people together with the influencers in politics in Washington, D.C. You've turned me on to a lot of really interesting people and ambassadors and experts over the years. You've been a behind the scenes play. Nana, I was on a roll. Why would you do that? Oh, as soon as I start talking politics, my Nazi German Shepherd starts to interrupt me. She would much rather see a dictatorship in this country than she'd she'd be back to work. She misses her glory days, my 13-year-old German Shepherd of torturing detainees. I'm just kidding. She's an old street dog. But as I was saying, I think the president, I don't think he's gonna. I think he's just doing this for branding. He wants to say he got cheated, so he has to get cheated. Keep going until he finds something he can call cheating, and then he'll go not gracefully. He'll go peacefully, is what I believe. He'll just go to Mar-a-Lago for Christmas and to play golf, and he'll be on the golf course when Joe Biden gets inaugurated in the sun in Florida, and that'll be it. Now, I don't think he's coming back from Christmas break. That's my theory.
Jeff, I think you have it exactly right. I think he doesn't want to be, just speculating. He has now the allegations that there's corruption. That's why he won't be reelected, and he'll do what you said. Just go down to Florida and start coming up with a plan to continue opposition.
His life as the opposition party, which is a good role for him, right? I mean, he loves to shake shit up. Trump he'll be good. He'll be the contrarian of the world, but he won't be in power. That'll be okay. It's okay with me.
But Jeff, let me ask you this. Now, you've done shows, but I know you you did the Comedy Central roast of Donald J. Trump.
Right.
But you also years ago, didn't you do some stuff down at Mar-a-Lago? Didn't you do something
Oh
for him?
yeah. Oh
And
yeah. No, I
you
went
have a
down.
unique
Yeah.
side to him, right? Like with you and your other comedian buddy, he let you use the car. That's a great story.
Yeah. Bruce Smirnoff and I flew down to Mar-a-Lago on Air Force One, Donald Trump's private plane, and the first lady was there and some other guests, and we stayed at Mar-a-Lago for 2 nights. It was a lovely club, very well run. Um, and the show was good considering I was just making fun of a bunch of rich people. Donald Trump gave me an intro that's hard to really follow. He said, "The funniest comedian you'll ever see in your entire life, the funniest comedian in the world." And I'm like, "Oh, great." He's really set me up to bomb in front of these Palm Beach over-tan, hoity-toity, rich people. And it was a gig. I was working every night. I was working 5 nights a week all over the world. So on this particular random ass night, here I was in Mar-a-Lago with my buddy Bruce Smirnoff, who I thought would connect with the Palm Beach rich crowd, and he did. He has this joke. He's like, he was talking about when he used to live in Boston or something or a certain neighborhood, and he goes, "When I moved in, it was artsy fartsy. Now it's gunsy knivesy." The president, Melania, all their friends. It was a fun weekend. Because basically the Donald walked me over to the manager of the hotel and said, give Jeff the Cadillac. Let him run around all weekend. And wound up being a pretty good show.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
But Jeff, I was.
I think that's the move. He just goes to Florida and chills out and lets Joe Biden take the reins. I don't think he passes the torch. I think he quits in Christmas time. That's what I think.
There's a lot of speculation, but I agree with you. I think that could be one of the avenues of how he moves. But hey, for running an organization that's in the middle between politics and entertainment, it's impressive. When you came out to do the 75th anniversary of the USO, there you were on stage with President Obama, Vice President Biden. You've done shows with Donald J. Trump and Mar-a-Lago. You've really played the middle, and I know you've done so much for veterans, and that's where we met, and we've been friends for all these years because of all the great stuff that you've done when people our military are overseas for the first time for a long time, and you bring some joy to them. So kudos to you for
wow.
Really.
Thank you, buddy.
No, I mean, you're doing something that not many people do or have done. I mean, you've built quite a name for yourself with the USO and traveling on many of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Christmas delegations. I mean,
those are amazing.
You've done some cool stuff.
Thank you, buddy. Today's Veterans Day. I do really cherish those memories. Today I was going through my challenge coins of all the different bases I've been to, and I know you were at some of those early bases with me, Steve, but there's got to be 50 different bases represented here, and it's humbling to think that I always go on these USO tours reluctantly with a return trip ticket, cranky and terrified the whole time, or at the very least, just with my tail between my legs, because these things, you're flying around on Black Hawk helicopters, you're performing in the back of trucks. There's a lot of shit that can go wrong, but I always come back at the end going, man, I'm really glad I did that.
Yeah. When we did that first Iraq tour, as the tour manager, as the Reuben Kincaid of the Partridge Family tour manager, it was always fun because you were the hardest one we'd leave at 6 a.m. and everyone's like, where's Jeff? Where's Jeff? Where's Jeff? I said, I'll go get Jeff. And you always made it to every flight, but you were the one I think we were the most worried about because you were filming your movie show, Patriot Act, late at night doing the Blair Witch testimonials. But you were such a big part of that. And I didn't even know you on that tour. And Drew Carey and everyone brought so much joy to the military overseas, even if it was just for 30 minutes. The show, let's say you guys did an hour show or 2 hour show, you would stay for 4 more hours signing autographs and shaking every one of the hands of the veterans and the military that wanted to stay and say hello. So a lot of times your meet and greets afterwards were just as moving as the excitement that you guys brought. So
It's good to hear. As you say these things, these images of all the USO tours come off in my head. I remember going to Katrina with Wayne Newton, and that was like unexpected. He calls me up. I was coming out of an audition in LA, and he's like, "Hey man, it's Wayne Newton." The whole conversation was a minute and a half. It's just like, and I had met him one other time at a USO formal thing in DC, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" And I'm like, "I don't know, Wayne Newton. What am I doing? You tell me." And and the next day, I met him in North Carolina and picked up like military transport plane, and we flew into Gulfport, Mississippi, and New Orleans, and we drove around and we saw the destruction that Hurricane Katrina did. And believe me, like it really took it was like there's a lot to take in, and we did about 3 or 4 appearances, maybe more than that even. And by the end, Wayne Newton and I practically had an act worked up together where I would roast all the different patches on his military jacket, and I'd go back to the Civil War and the Battle of the Bulge, and it was funny. Wayne Newton, cool guy. I made a lot of good friends on those USO tours. You included, my friend. Steve Ross is my guest right now. He's the founder of Artists and Athletes Alliance. We're live on stereo. My Uncle Murray, he was like a great veteran in my life. And right now I'm staring at my Uncle Albie's World War II formal uniform that he gave me right after his 90th birthday. He wanted me to hold on to it. So shout out to Uncle Murray and Uncle Albie. I think about those guys, the greatest generation, the Don Rickles generation, the older guys who fought in World War II and then Vietnam and Korea. And now there's so many veterans coming back from these wars that happen now. We're a violent world, folks. Got to have a good defense. Got to have a good offense. Shout out to the military protecting my right to talk shit on my podcast. How many days have you been quarantining, Steve? How many days in a row are you up to now? What is it? What are we up to? 8 months? 9 months?
yeah, well, in between breaking my arm 2 weeks ago and having surgery, it's quarantine / just recovery in my house. So we'll get through it. But it's been since the end of March, so it's been a long time. But you know what? I'm happy you do these podcasts and this stereo thing, because
a lot of people, yeah,
good way to keep, it's new voices. We want to hear friendly voices and voices we want to hear. And, whether you're quarantining or recovering from surgery or just laying low, it's good to have, a friend that you can turn on on your phone and hear good content.
Well, let's listen to some of the messages that people are leaving for us. This
Sure.
is Jeff Ross. You're live on stereo.
Jeff Ross' face looked like a fat ass kneecap.
Now, I love getting roasted on here. And normally the whole show is that, but
It's all good.
Hello, Jeff Ross. I thought this was a myth. I didn't think you come to this app, but that's lit.
Thanks, Bass. Thanks, bud. You're fucking lit, bro.
Jeff Ross' face looked like an ugly titty. Woo! With no nipple.
I just want to say for the record, I've never seen an ugly titty. All titties are beautiful.
Call it bros versus hoes.
Bros versus hoes. What is that? I missed that one, but
Yo, Jeff Ross, I fucking love you, man. Watched all your comedy specials, or roasts mainly, and you have always been my favorite character in every one of them. What's today's talk about?
we're talking about the election. We're all in a daze. What's going to happen? Will there be a peaceful transition of power? Will Rudy Giuliani be the next host of Celebrity Apprentice? Um, will Trump release his tax returns? What happens to Mike Pence after if when Trump concedes? Steve, what do you think? Do you think you'll see him around Washington still, or will he go back to Indiana and be that guy?
You know what? I don't know, to be honest with you. A lot of times
Is he the next Dan Quayle?
he could be. He could be. I don't know. A lot of the politicians, years ago, it's funny, like they all have a lot of Secret Service. Like a former vice president will have Secret Service, but just for like a week or two after the elections, and then
Right.
they lose their Secret Service. So here's someone that's been driven around, and this is every vice president. They've been driven around for 4 years or 8 years, and all of a sudden they're going to the supermarket by themselves. I saw a vice president driving the wrong way down a one-way lane at the Giants supermarket. One guy just lost the presidency. He had all the cameras, 100 press with him. 7 days later,
Who was it? Who was it?
This was a long time ago. This is Walter Mondale after he lost to Ronald Reagan. I was in line at Giant, and I swear to God, right behind me. This is like a week later. He's holding
What's Giant?
in D.C., in Washington, D.C.
A supermarket?
Yeah, supermarket. It's like Aldi's or Publix. And he was literally right behind me holding a jar of peanut butter by himself. Wasn't one security. So I just like, this is pretty crazy. The guy a week ago had a 747, 50 members of the press corps. Every word he said, they had boom mics over his head, quoting him. What, sir? What? And now he's buying a peanut butter. And I'll never forget, I saw him drive away, and his car had a Mondale Ferraro bumper sticker on it.
Oh,
and
wow.
He was driving the wrong way down the one-way supermarket aisle. Yeah, it's great. But those are the things.
Oh, my Lord.
Politicians are just like everybody else. While they're in office, they have the security and everything for a president and vice president is time. Time is the most important asset. That's why Air Force One and Air Force Two don't wait. As soon as the president or vice president boards, they start moving. The door's shut. The plane is first in line to take off. So that's the thing, time. So when they're out of office, that's something I think it's probably hard to for them to adjust to, is no Secret Service. And I mean, presidents have Secret Service, but it's a smaller group, but they don't hold traffic. They don't, they won't hold a plane to let a former president take off like they would when he's president.
Right.
So there's just a lot of
I love those scenes that you've seen it firsthand. You've traveled with vice presidents and presidents over the years, and worked for different White Houses. And, do you still get starstruck, Steve, when you're, walk into, what's it called? Wait, don't tell me. If you say it, I'll be mad. Hold on.
You got it. I know what you're saying. Say it.
Why am I having I'll say Cafe Milano because I can't remember Old Emmett Grill. Old Emmett Grill right now.
Right.
Oh yeah! Shout out to Old Emmett Grill, Cafe Milano. I've had a lot of good times. I had a birthday party once in Washington D.C. A birthday dinner right before a USO event at Old Emmett. That was one of my jokes. I roasted one of the chairmen of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Richard Myers, years ago. I don't know what the situation was, but the joke was, it was a very private event, and I said something to the effect of he knew he used to go to Old Emmett Grill when it was just called Emmett Grill. Good times, good times.
Hey, Jeff, I want to just go back a little bit about the USO. A lot of people think the USO is just overseas, because you always hear about Iraq or you hear Afghanistan, and
Right.
There's so much important. The USO's mission is to take care of those in the military. But like your trip to Louisiana and throughout the country and even closer to Europe, there's always a USO footprint, which is so impressive. And even at all the airports for international departures with USO lounges. And I just wanted to give a special shout out on Veterans Day to the great people of the USO.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, the USO. They also do like stuff that isn't entertainment. They'll do care packages. So you can always donate to the USO at uso.org. And a lot of communities' bases have their own local USOs. I was just in the one in Alaska last Christmas, and they have a very, very expansive USO up there. I went with Seth Green for 5 days to 3 different bases in Alaska, USO Alaska. Shout out to you guys on Veterans Day today. Whoo! Thinking about the veterans. Every day should be Veterans Day. What are we even talking about? Right? I mean, come on.
Absolutely. Hey, Jeff, share a couple stories. How cold was it in Alaska? I mean, I think people would love to hear what a trip
How
to
cold was
Alaska.
it?
Yeah.
My penis went inside my stomach. That's how fucking cold it was. Let's take some messages. It was fucking cold in Alaska. Yes. Thank you, Detective Steve.
Yeah, but it was winter, right? It was like cold, extra.
I know. I went up there over Christmas, and it was so freezing cold. And everybody, I'm with Seth Green. He always wants to like, hey, let's go check out this. Let's go check out that. Like walking 50 feet, like my butt is so clenched, and I have no hair on my body, so I'm just, I'm really, really, really cold. And he had like a big, thick beard, so it just wasn't fair. And then we had one nice day up in Kodiak where we went to visit the Coast Guard, and it warmed up where you didn't have to wear gloves to urinate. You know how hard it is to pee in the snow when it's 40 below? Hey, somebody write that down. I think I just wrote a blues song about the USO tours. A lot of people want to weigh in and say hi. So here we go, folks. Here's everybody's 15 seconds of fame live on stereo.
Hey Jeff, how are you, Daddy?
Thank you, Sexual Chocolate. I'm doing great.
Take those politics and shove it up your ass, bitch.
Thank you, John Johnson. Take those politics and shove it up your ass. I couldn't agree more.
Hello. You guys are funny.
Thanks, Aurora. Thank you.
Hi there, Yogi Bear and George Lopez want to look alike. How y'all doing?
Thank you, Marie Sloan 669. We're doing good.
Fauci did an article or interview today talking about that he feel like it would be disservice to his neighborhood if he didn't spend his money in that area.
Oh, I like that. Thank you, Joe Hundo. Great to hear from you, Joe Hundo. Check out my podcast with Joe Hundo. That was a great conversation just a few days ago. A lot of people want to say hi, so I'm just going to keep going. Steve, I hear your ice jingling in your glass, so hopefully you're having fun. Are you having fun?
Jack and Coke fun, yeah.
Me.
Not as much fun as they're having.
Addison athletes. 2 things Jeff Ross will never be.
Very good, Sonny. Very good.
Hey, Jeff Ross. What's poppin'? What's poppin'? Make it pop. Do you know anything that has to do with the COVID vaccine releasement, that FEMA is connected with the releasement of this vaccine?
Make it pop, 7. Good question. I'm going to, the second it comes out, I'm doing frozen vaccine shots in Jell-O. I'm going to be selling those on my, outside my, I don't know. The vaccine parties, Steve, are going to be off the hizzy, man. Imagine how people are going to party when everybody has the vaccine. It's going to be like, this is the fall of the Roman Empire right now. We're about to see it.
Sounds good.
Yo, do y'all white motherfuckers support white supremacy?
I do. I don't know if Steve does. Do you support white supremacy?
No, I
Come on,
not.
what kind of fucking question is that?
Right.
Oh man. I've even roasted the white supremacists in my special from Brazos County Jail. Fuck the Nazis.
So
I say
that's
Jeff
what's going on.
Ross
But I think ultimately
for
people will come
2024.
together.
Rich Exotic, thank you.
I don't think there's going to be any civil war because there doesn't need to be a war because we are different. We need to grow up, get together, work together because united we stand, but divided we fall. That's all.
Yes.
It's just that easy.
Yes.
That's a good
Thank
point.
you, Micah. Love it, Micah Evans. I love your energy. Love your energy. I'm going to follow you. I'm on a follow spree today because a lot of good messages, a lot of positivity, man. A lot of positivity out there. People are going to come together. I had a good talk with my buddy, country star John Rich, a couple of weeks ago. There's no reason that people who disagree politically, strongly disagree politically, can't still talk to each other and have a drink. That's what I'm saying.
I say Jeff Ross 2024 will go from an orange man to a sleepy man to the man.
Yeah, Rich Exotic. Thank you. That was a good joke and also kind of made me feel good.
Yeah, hi, Jeff Ross. The best say was this conspiracy talking about Mr. Biden that supposedly he's not going to last long up there, as in being the president, and that it's Harris Kamala or whatever her name is, that she's going to end up taking over and being the president, the first woman black president.
That's awesome. I mean, that might just happen. I mean, Joe Biden is 78 years old. You know, I don't want to be ageist. I don't even think that's that old, and I think he's still pretty sharp personally. He gets an unfair dig, you know, with the Sleepy Joe routine. I mean, what other 78-year-old is working like that? And he's very impressive, and the stutter I find endearing. I don't even think it's a stutter. I think he's just thoughtful about how he talks and what he's saying. That's my opinion. Shout out to Joe Biden for winning that race. How do you stay bipartisan, Steve? How does artists and athletes stay bipartisan in such a, you know, climate?
Well, over the years, obviously, the climate has gotten a little more tense. The old days, you know, from stuff, well, Ronald Reagan and the Tip O'Neill, who was the Speaker of the House, used to fight all day and have a beer at the end of the day. But over the time, you know, it's become more polarized. I think social media has had a big impact on that too, where now, you know, whether it's the candidate or the politician or their staffs just bombarding their opposition nonstop has taken a negative toll. But for me, I have to survive in DC, being the link to Washington, DC, you know, for the entertainment and creative community. So, you know, I just try not to follow the parties, but just try to follow the issues. As you know, you've come to our events after the earthquake in Haiti, after the Egyptian uprising, on the environment, on criminal justice. So artists and athletes, I try to focus on the issues and how we can get them solved rather than the political party.
I love that. Follow Artists Athletes here on Stereo. Follow the Artists and Athletes Alliance on Instagram, and they have a cool website with a lot of information. All right, a lot of people want to say hi. So this is Jeff Ross. Life is hard, but we're getting through it together. My buddy Steve Ross is on with me today, the founder of Artists and Athletes Alliance. And all of you motherfuckers, what you got?
I believe Trump is going to buy WWE, and he's going to get into the wrestling business. And I believe next WrestleMania, it's going to be Vince McMahon versus Donald Trump for the biggest douchebag championship of the world.
All right, Craig. I like it. I think there's something there. That is the one thing about Trump. Never underestimate him. You don't know what he's going to do next necessarily. You just don't.
Jeff Ross, you are the freaking man. You're
Thank
so
you,
fucking funny,
Thank you.
man.
Thank
Shout
you,
out
Cash
to
Flow.
you.
Thank you, Cash Globe. You are funny.
Jeff Ross is hanging out on Stereo with artists and athletes, and artists and athletes are also the names of his previous hairstyles.
Thank you, Sonny Graham. That was funny.
Jeff Ross went down to the border to roast the immigrants, and they hated him so much they all went home and joined MS-13.
This guy's on fire, Sonny Graham. I'm following you on Stereo right now.
Hey, what's up, Jeffrey Ross? Big fan, man. You're over there looking like the head orc.
The head orc. Is that what is that? Is that a Lord of the Rings reference? I think it is.
Hey, Yogi Bear. As soon as all this bullshittery stuff, or sometime soon, because I'm going crazy, how about we hook up or something? Because fuck me, these dildos ain't working.
Ooh, Marie Sloan. Changing the subject. Is it just me, or is talk of the vaccine making everybody all frisky right now? Is that what's going on? I feel like, the election sort of getting mostly resolved. Everybody was really wild Saturday, and man, the world is about to the holidays could be freaky.
Jeff Ross, the big boss, what's up? So, quick comedy question, if you don't mind. Do you think that what would you call that? The cellar crowd, the group of comedians that was around the early to mid to late 90s, early 2000s, like Voss, Apollo, you, although I don't know if you even classify yourself within that group, but you certainly belong in that era. Patrice, all the boys, I guess you put Kevin Hart in there, he belonged to that too, I guess. And that whole crew, would you say that is the strongest era of comedy ever been? I know that there's been legends like Richard Pryor way back, but I'm talking about in terms of that group or that regime. Is that the strongest comedian group of all time, just in terms of talent and things like that, of raw ability? Or do you think that there was a generation or an era that was greater than you guys? Or there's a greater one now? I doubt it, but maybe.
I guess I'm not surprised the guy named King would ask a 4-minute question about whether my generation of comedians is better than Richard Pryor. Thank you for blowing your whistle, Steve.
Yeah, I just found it. I haven't used this thing in 10 years. I just found it.
What is that?
It was actually from a campaign. It was a premium that they were handing out to get on the election train. So let me do it one last time, then I'll put it away.
No, I like it. Keep going. Save it for when we're on a roll. It'll be your train ride noise. But King Contrarian, thank you for your question. Thank you for complimenting the comics and me and listening to the show.
Yo, Regal. Yo.
This guy sounds like he's kidnapping somebody.
There ain't no such thing as that, man. That's a myth.
I don't know what he's talking about, but thank you for your comment.
Who's Jeff Ross? I'm confused here.
You're retarded.
Is he an actor?
Oh my.
Jeff Ross looks like my titty.
Ooh, Suez here. Thank you.
Jeff Ross looks like he picks his nose and eats it while chewing bubble gum.
All right, Sonny Graham, that's a good one. I'll give you that.
I bet Jeff Ross wears his favorite NFL jersey even on his team's bye week.
My name's Jeff Ross. Shut the fuck up! Shut up! I'm playing off Iron.
This guy's acting out a play. I kind of like it.
We have chicken under the bed. We have chicken under the bed.
Thank you, Josh. I don't know what's going on today.
Jeff Ross only 69s with girls because he doesn't want them looking at his double chin.
Thank you, Sonny Graham. That's a good one. Very good. He's on fire today, Sonny Graham. on fire. I didn't even ask to get roasted today, and he's roasting me.
Jeff Ross doesn't know the difference between a CPAP machine and going to the gym.
I kind of get it. I kind of get it, Sonny, but you're on a roll.
Yo, Jeff Ross, you bald son of a bitch.
Thank you, Lexus. You're also bald, according to your avatar. Steve, we're on a roll. Blow the whistle. Sounds like a fat guy trying to walk up a flight of stairs.
What has been the most pivotal yet unique roast that you've done thus far? Like, what is the one that stand out the most?
Great question.
The roast that stands out the most. What do you think, Steve? You've been to a few of them.
Yeah, no, I liked them all. I mean, I think the Joan Rivers was great. You know, even seeing you get with the Bob Saget roast, and it's impressive to see how you've gone through all these and you can hit your marks on all of them, you know, with different targets. Trump's roast, that was, hey, I saw something on the situation. Tell some people about the situation when he was bombing at that roast. And he thought he was doing a good job.
That was a Trump roast.
Right.
And Situation from Jersey Shore insisted on wearing his sunglasses during the roast, which was just a bad idea. And he just started tanking, you know, and what else can you do? He just started tanking. And hold on. Sorry. I got distracted by my, I got to turn my thing off. He was bombing bad. And, you know, I'm a producer of the show. I got nervous. I don't want anyone to bomb on my show. And the writers worked hard on the situation speech. So that's when I ran out and I lifted my shirt up and I said, "You're the situation, I'm the saturation." And I showed my big fat belly and I made a couple jokes and kind of helped him end his set with a few laughs. And people say I saved the situation. Thank you for reminding me of that story.
Just one last story from the Donald Trump roast. I'll remember before the show, Snoop was there, and New York had very strict rules on smoking weed and any kind of smoke inside a building. And I remember the Snoop said, "Hey, you want to smoke?" And then you guys went out, and there was a Porto John outside. I remember Snoop says, "Go to the Porto John. I'll be in there in a minute." And then all of a sudden, you see smoke coming out of the grommets. That was the greatest. And then I think you used that, or Snoop used that as a joke that puts the word pot in Porto Potty. But that was great to see you guys jam in this time. Fucking Porto John.
That's a good story, Steve. Thank you for reminding me of that. Here's some more messages. Hi, Nipsey.
What up, Doe? Coming live from Pittsburgh. Great shout out. Loving you guys.
Thank you very much, Ganilus. Thank you. Nana, be cool. Oh, stop it, you Nazi bastards. Stop barking, you bad dogs. Stop. There's nobody here now. There's nobody here. Hey, Nana, be cool, fool. Be cool. Be cool, Nana. Be cool. Nana, chill out. He'll concede, Nana. Nana, he'll concede. Relax. He's going to concede. Jeez, my dog is so just... She's in a daze about the elections. She's in a daze. Hold on, Steve. I'm going to quiet her down. Nana, be cool. Be cool. Be cool. All right.
Our next guest is a rescue from LA Dog Central. You know her best from her appearances on Stereo. Welcome, Nipsey and Nana.
It's just when you want to do stereo from home, you have to deal with some, stuff, home stuff. Did you see the guy, one of the MSNBC anchors, who said shit and fuck in the middle of the broadcast the other day? You got to apologize. It's just how it goes, It's just how it goes. We have a lot more messages. Can you hang for a few more minutes, Steve? This is so fun having you here.
Of course.
All right, let's see what we got here. A lot of people.
Hope you're good, Jeff. Love from London. Peace.
Ooh, I'm going to follow her. I like her. Ruth Brown, thank you. Peace to you. Bella. What happened? She didn't know how to do it right. Come on, Bella, where are you at? Oh, man, she's got nothing to offer. Thank you, Bella.
We're giving out bleach shots around here if you guys want one.
Thank you. Instead of the vaccine, if you can't get any. Thank you, Nicole. I'm coming to you for some bleach shots, baby.
Hey, no cap. I would vote for you, Jeff, in 2024 if you ran. You should really consider it. You're a genius, bro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, Sexual Chocolate. I feel you, baby. You're a genius.
Hi, guys. Just tuned in. Doing a great job. What's your favourite war?
Thank you, Jai Jai. Hi, Jai Jai. Favorite war, Steve? Do you have a favorite war?
Yeah, I always favored the Korean War, but now I don't know. Maybe no. You have great guests on. I have great comments coming in. These are great.
As a veteran of the KISS Army, my favorite war was Gene Simmons versus Peter Criss, 1978, when Peter drank Gene's makeup remover. Thank you, Jai Jai, for the question.
I say we start a civil war, so I have a reason to kill my Aunt Betsy.
Yeehaw, John Johnson 93. I'm giving you a follow, motherfucker. Giving you a follow.
First order of business. Kamala, bitches. Kamala.
Kamala. Got it. Thank you, Nicole. Kamala.
Just like Kamala.
Kamala.
Now, Jeff, I worked the debates this cycle, and she was great working with all the candidates, getting a chance to see what they're like right before they go under the biggest lights with the pressure. But Kamala was impressive, and as were a lot of candidates. But she has a toughness to her, which is impressive.
Oh yeah, you must have seen her a few times at those debates, right? There were how many debates did they do this cycle?
I think there were maybe a total of they canceled some due to COVID, and they moved them from larger arenas to smaller. But I think there was 8 of them. All the candidates always complain about the debates. Like, why are there so many debates? I hate the debates. But they all need the debates because that's where people who aren't as well known get recognition. That's why they do it. And she was very cool. So Kamala.
It's if I was a candidate, that would be my favorite thing. I'd want to debate. That'd be the thing I'd want to do the most.
If you're
so when you're backstage, when you're backstage at these debates, Steve, and the candidates are very nervous. Now, for people just tuning in, my guest Steve Ross from Artists and Athletes Alliance, he's knows a lot about DC, but he's had eyewitness backstage at the last 10 years worth of presidential debates. Wow. And now, is there anything you do when you're back there working at the debates to calm people down? Do you have sort of a certain voice you use, or when Bernie Sanders or Obama or Trump or all the people that you've worked with at these debates, is there something where you can calm them down? Do you have a trick or?
Not calm them down, but everyone's jacked up. They're nervous. They know there's a lot riding on. These are the presidential primary debates where it's all the Democrats or all the Republicans. I worked all of them with Trump 4 years ago. I worked all the ones with CNN this cycle. There's pressure. They're nervous. People didn't what they said. I'm not coming out until Donald Trump comes out, or I'm not coming out until Joe Biden. There's a lot of one-upmanship, and a lot of times it comes from people who aren't as high in the poll numbers. They're like, I'm
Right.
not coming out. So I would tell them, I said, hey, we're going to start lining up to go off stage. Like, I'm not coming out now because so and so's not out. I said, okay, well, I'm not coming back to get you. So we're leaving now. Our phrase is we're walking,
Right.
but to actually walk with all the candidates, knowing one of these guys most likely will be the president, and just seeing how their staffs operate behind the scenes. And, some are more pushy, some are less, it's just all different personalities, but it's really based on what the candidate's personality is like. So their staff usually follows. I've told you before, I've been on stage during a debate, and literally there's almost a fist fight going on, like right behind the curtain between a couple campaigns. There's always
between
something crazy.
not the candidates themselves,
no,
right?
It's their staffers. It's like we'd bring a staffer to stand off stage, so at the end of the debate they could go get their candidate or do whatever they want to do. But it's crazy just to see all and they're under stress. The staffs, they want a job. They don't want to be out looking for work. So everyone's got stress on them, from the candidate down to their campaign team. And just seeing how some drink a lot behind, I've seen people get effed up in their green rooms just drinking.
Before the debate or after?
No, I mean during the debate, the staff, while the candidate's up there.
I'm sure,
knock
because
on
they've
the
been.
doors. Yeah.
What a crazy thing to be a witness to, to be involved in. Good for you, man.
Yeah.
One day you're gonna have to write a book, Steve Ross. You have great stories.
Yeah, maybe from the outhouse to the White House.
Is there anybody who's like? Is there anybody who's like, I don't want any makeup, or is there anybody who's like, I want to be able to. I want to bring a hamburger out there with me. Or has anyone ever like been in the bathroom and missed their cue?
Oh yeah. I mean, but you can imagine being the liaison. The network is like, where is Hillary Clinton? Where is she? Why? I'm like, or where's Bernie Sanders? Because he's still in the bathroom, or but that's part of the game. I mean, some candidates, the more well-funded candidates, would bring their own hair and makeup team, and they want to do that every commercial. Other people would, I just say, hey, do you want to comb your hair? And they're like, no, not really. It's just, there's different personalities. Some candidates just run for president, not that they think they can be president, but they want to get the national coverage and media bump. So out of, let's say, 10 candidates running for president, one of them who's making, let's say, $100,000 or as a congressman, or 150, they want to become a lobbyist or the head of an association and make $1 million. So they run for president, knowing it's not going to last that long, but to build up some media, some recognition that would increase their value in the job market should they not do it. So you have to look at each of the candidates and think, why are they really running? Do they really think they can be president, or is this for some other purpose? So,
strange times to get in the political mind. Wonder what's going on. Man, I think Donald Trump is just going to go to Mar-a-Lago for Christmas and just not come back, and he'll be playing golf when Joe Biden gets sworn in. That's my prediction right here on stereo. That's how I see it's going to play out.
Imagine that split screen on the TV network says Joe Biden's taking the oath and Donald Trump's in the sand trap.
Or getting a hole in one, enjoying his life, which is what he should do. What a time. What a time. You can't say he didn't accomplish something. He got 3 judges in the Supreme Court. And
hundreds of judges confirmed. Listen, and that's Mitch McConnell, the secretary or the Senate Majority Leader. His goal is, the most important thing for him to do is get judges. So when Obama had the last year, he didn't appoint Merrick Garland. But that's the thing. This is a contact sport. Politics is a contact sport, and elections have consequences. So when everyone thought Hillary was going to win and she didn't win, that was the opening that gave, so everything, the best part of this election cycle, Jeff, and I can end it on this thing, is the turnout was so impressive. Whether you like Trump or you like Joe Biden, the fact that over 150 and it's growing million people have voted.
Wow.
Last cycle, there was
How many people are in America?
Well, I don't know based on the adults, but there's 330 million people who live in America. So a lot of them are kids or underage. But the fact is, last cycle, you had 138 million people voting for president. Now we have over 150 million. They'll probably go to 160 million by the time they're done counting everything. But, Donald Trump's numbers are going up and Joe Biden's are going up, but a little bit more. I mean, that's the bottom line is Republicans did well in the congressional races. So it's kind of hard to say, hey, you cheated the ballot, but all the other Republicans won. So it's a contact sport. And, people who are in it are tough. They're used to it. They can take, being called names and, standing and the way people are handling this accusations of cheating. I mean, this is not unexpected, right? Because I think President Trump said this before the race too. If I lose, it's because of. So things will all come together. I think
he lost because of his act didn't change. Still making fun of John McCain after he's dead. He lost Arizona. Still doing the same build that wall 4 years later. It's like if I was doing the same exact jokes 4 years later. I think I think the act just didn't evolve in the right way. And I don't know. That's my gut reaction.
California had an amazing turnout. I mean, the impressive thing is people actually voted during a COVID pandemic where people thought maybe, whether it's by mail or by drop off or by in person. The good part is that people actually came and their voices were heard. So that's the best part that we could have hoped for, that people showed up, they expressed what they want, and we'll see what happens. But I think it was good.
There's a whole bunch of listeners that want to weigh in. I know you probably want to wrap it up, Steve, but even if you want to put yourself on, I kind of want to fly through a bunch of these.
Play them.
And all right.
COVID has put Jeff's career on pause. Now he's kind of like Jesus Christ, just hanging around.
How do you sign up for a USO tour? What's the best way to go about that?
That's a good question. I'm not
join the military.
Sure. Yeah, or become a comedian or an entertainer. I went with Kelly Pickler once. I think she won American Idol. And it's for entertainers. If you're an entertainer, you can reach out to your local USO and offer to do a show and see what happens.
Joe Biden is a baby back bitch.
Joe Biden is a wow. All right. I don't understand the rib reference thrown in there. Baby back. But okay, what the fuck?
We got all these celebrities getting all happy. Biden won. They ready to suck on his dick.
They don't even know if he won or lost. He's just saying.
Jeff Ross once knew a Mexican prostitute named Chata. He would call her Horchata.
Horchata.
Can you hear me?
Yep. We hear you, deleted.
Donald Trump is a cocksucker. Just to let you know.
Oh, good news, DJ Poppy. Thank you.
Steve Ross. That's the.
What happened, Sonny? Try it again.
Hey, yo, bro. Don't you be disrespecting my boy Vince McMahon like that. He worked hard. He built that company around him, bro.
No disrespect,
He's not
actual chocolate. I'm a big wrestling fan.
Hey, yo, Jeff. This is Smooth Vic. The back of your knees get musty.
The name Steve Ross makes me think of a guy that eats pussy wearing a turtleneck so he can look sophisticated.
Sorry, Steve. You're taking this very.
So I found out real quick that apparently to get influencers or people that are verified on this app to follow you, you just have to ask. So will you guys give me a follow? Anyone listening? I'm just a stay-at-home mom from Oklahoma,
All
but I
right,
live in
Lacey.
Pittsburgh.
I followed you, Lacey. Shout out to you.
You are now tuned in to Election Days with my man in DC. Live with Jeff Ross and artist athletes. Live on the Stereo app. Be sure to follow Snipe Luciano on TikTok and Instagram today.
All right, Snipe, I followed you. Thank you for that beautiful tribute.
My boy Jeff Ross looks like Bruce Willis. What if Bruce Willis had fucking diabetes?
Oh!
It's Jeff fucking Ross!
Bobby Clark, baby, it's me.
Hey, yo, Jeff Ross, are you rich enough that the election results are gonna hurt you?
No.
I miss when you had hair. You used to look like a Down syndrome Howard Stern.
Thank you, Kevin.
Are you gay, Jeff Ross?
I don't know. What's the offer?
Another banger. Jeff Ross and artists and artisans here on Stereo.
Thank you, Marlon. I don't know
Hey,
what
Jeff Ross, I was wondering, what's been the funniest roast for you, and what's been your best moment in your whole career? And, have you had a favorite celebrity that you've roasted before?
3 questions. The question is, my favorite roast is whoever's next, because I love roasting people. I'll do a roast the host on Stereo later this week, and yeah, man. Sometimes I wonder if roasting is, people are too sensitive these days to handle it, but people seem to still love it. So I am inspired. I love the fans.
Jeff actually looks mentally disabled. Can't you imagine him having a drooling problem off screen?
I've seen every single one of your roasts, Jeff Ross, and I think you're absolutely hilarious. I think you're comparable to Don Rickles, the king of mean.
Thank you.
Keep doing the good job that you keep doing, bud.
Thank you, Superman. You're all right.
Hey, Jeff, big fan. Have you ever had a favorite roast that you've ever done before? And do you have a?
I like the Flavor Flav roast because my opening joke was, how do you even embarrass a crackhead who wears a Viking helmet?
Jeff Ross looks like Carrot Top with no hair.
Jeff
Bobby.
Ross looks like the type of person that would eat an entire deep dish from Domino's and cry after sex.
Thank you, Bobby.
Hey, Jeff Ross, have you had a favorite roast before? And have you had a favorite?
This guy's asking the same question 3 times, and his handle's literally called deleted. I'm going to fucking delete him.
Hey, you're awesome, man. Keep going. Woo!
Woo, you're awesome. Thank you, Bella. I'm following you. You're awesome. Steve Ross, thank you so much, my man. Thank you.
Great talking to you tonight.
Lots of love, buddy, and I hope your arm heals real quick. And thanks for sharing your experiences with us today.
You got it, buddy.
All right.
Talk to you
Thanks, bud. Okay, bye. That was so much fun.
Jeff Ross, being serious now, I'm a former United States Marine. I appreciate everything you've done in the past for veterans. Your head is on my Mount Rushmore of comedy. And I just want to say thank you.
Sonny killed it. Sonny Graham, here it is. Hello? Hey, Sonny, it's Jeff.
Holy shit!
Can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
I stayed on for a second just to say thanks for the jokes today. Hey, quiet. Sorry, the dogs are losing their minds.
No, you're fine. My dog is normally losing her mind, but I think she sees the shock in my eyes that I just got a phone call from Jeff Ross, and she decided to just keep it mouth shut.
Where are you? Where do you live?
well, right now I live in Colorado. I live just north of Denver in Thornton, but originally I'm from Massachusetts.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, I wanted to just say hi, and it's Veterans Day, and you said you were a Marine, so I wanted to give you a shout out here on stereo.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. This is actually going to be a very memorable Veterans Day. To be honest with you, I said that early. I didn't think you would call me. This is so. I might have to smoke a bowl just to come down for a second. I'm a little nervous. I'm sorry. I didn't expect you to call me, Jeff. I'm sitting here listening to you, and now all of a sudden I'm talking to you, and this is.
Hey.
I got it's a minute for, but anyway, yeah.
That's the beauty of stereo, buddy. It really is. And what was your job in the Marines?
I was in field artillery, so I used to load a big 98-pound bullet into a cannon, close the door, and pull the string.
Holy shit, that sounds intense. And did you practice using your wife's tampon?
No, it's funny.
Although I'm trying to throw some jokes out here,
No, you're good.
I didn't mean to be disrespectful here on Veterans Day, Sonny.
Listen, here's what. All right, so is this being recorded, or is this just between you and I?
We're on stereo. We're live, man. There's a lot of people listening.
Okay, all right. So, this is why I said it's very memorable. A couple of years ago, oddly enough, I had I don't even know if I should put his name out because I don't want to really hurt the guy, but he.
No, change the names. Let's do this.
All right. There was this guy named and 3 years ago today, the guy was up in my face, literally face to face with me, telling me that he wipes his ass with my disability. I'm a disabled veteran. He fucking wipes his ass with my Marine Corps career. It was a shit show of a conversation that should have never happened. And to have you call me now reverses, Veterans Day kind of having a stain on it.
Well, I'm glad I could make you feel better. That was my goal here, Sonny. I don't want to get involved in your personal disputes, but your beard, holy shit, you look like you should be protecting the wall on Game of Thrones right now.
Your avatar looks like the love child of a Canadian Mountie and Sluggo from Sluggo and Nancy.
I'm gonna let you get the last laugh, Sonny. It's Veterans Day. Just wanted to say hi, man. Thanks for listening to the podcast today.
Oh yeah, definitely. I appreciate it. I listened to Thick Skin. That's how I found out about the stereo app. Can I just say something real quick? Since I don't know, I'm never gonna get to talk to you again. I get that.
Yeah.
But I
but try not to implicate it. Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to sincerely say thank you because of your comedy, Kill Tony. I did open mics myself. I don't ever expect to be a comic. I never planned on being like the next Bill Burr. I don't want to do that. I like the job that I have, and I want to just keep that. But in terms of actually getting on stage, like roast comedy is my favorite style, and you're the best roaster. So you helped me, get on stage and be an open micer. And I can't even believe I get to say this to you. Thank you, man, for real.
Wow. Thank you, man. Well, it's mutual respect fest today here. Mutual respect.
Out of mutual respect, if you ever come to Denver, which is where I live now, please do Brant Tobler's podcast. There's a comic out here. His name's Brant Tobler. He's a good buddy of mine. Just do his podcast if you ever get a chance to come to Denver. I'm promoting someone else's podcast other than my own. So.
What's your podcast?
My part. Well, I'm not. I'll tell you. It's called No Impact, No Idea. It's just something that I do for myself. It's more like a hobby. I just talk to myself in the microphone for an hour, and then I put it on this app called Anchor. I think I have 20 listeners or something total. It's nothing to brag about. It's more like just putting my life on record, I guess.
Oh, that's cool, man. Good for you, Sonny.
Yeah. If you want to listen to it, it's called No Impact. Well, I'm glad you called. Thank you for calling. There's a little bit of a delay. I don't want to talk over you. Thank you for calling. You literally have made this the best Veterans Day ever. I'm still in shock right now. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, buddy. I'll talk to you.
All right.
Lots of love.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care.
Sonny Graham, thank you, buddy. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your jokes tonight. This has been a special live edition, stereo live edition of Thick Skin with Jeff Ross. Don't forget to like and subscribe this podcast on Apple Podcasts. Hit me up on Instagram. Follow Artists and Athletes Alliance on Instagram. That's my buddy Steve Ross's organization. They're a nonpartisan, not bipartisan, nonpartisan organization that bridges as the nexus between Hollywood, sports, I should say entertainment, sports, and politics. And they're just cool people to follow, cool people to know. Hang in there, everybody. I know the world is a scary place sometimes. Life is hard, but don't worry. We're getting through it together.